All right then. Coronavirus. That's a right load of old bollocks, isn't it? When is it ever going to end? Stuck inside, nothing to do. Can only take the dogs legally 100 metres. Don't tell anybody. I've been going a little bit further than that. I've actually moved into the cupboard because that's the only place left in our small house where I can manage to make an office. So here we are. And I thought I'd set up a YouTube thingamajig to try and cheer some of you up. Because for years I've been telling you that you're sad and lonely, but only now do you appreciate the fact that you are. So, I'm going to give you some good news and I'm going to give you some bad news. But I'm going to give you the bad news first and then I'm going to give you the good news with some tips on how to make life a little bit more bearable. Bad news. The commandant, as he calls himself, in Kyrgyzstan, has decided that we will spend another 2 weeks in social isolation. I mean, most of you have been begging for me to be socially isolated for years, but it turns out that it's now the law. So we've got another 2 weeks in Bishkek, although we did have snow yesterday, but the sun's come out today, so things aren't so bad. Another bit of bad news, it wasn't a dream. Trump is still the president of America. Yay! Sad for anybody who's suffering from coronavirus or who's poor, in fact, because you're going to die. Anyway, enough of that. That's all the bad news. So, first, some good news. The first bit of good news is that you no longer have to take time to prepare mashed potato, or kotoshka puree, as they call it in Russian, because the potatoes we're now getting in the supermarkets are so bloody awful that they're pre-mashed. That's awesome, isn't it? Although they do cost twice the price and they do have a slight green tinge to them as well, which is never good. Okay, the second bit of good news is that Putin and the Russians have actually created a cure, surprisingly, for coronavirus. And funnily enough, once again, it's a combination of pepper and vodka. Isn't that amazing? All the doctors are saying it works. That's great. And apparently, if you take it, it'll also cure HIV. Funny that, because of course, you know, just in case you had it, or any other sexual transmitted disease for that matter. And the third thing is, I've got a little tip for all of you who can't find masks to wear. Because now in Kyrgyzstan, you have to wear a mask when you go into a shop, or indeed if you just step outside your front door. So I've been thinking of ways to come up with, with a solution to this problem, and I finally found it. So a lot of us blokes, not you ladies, I hasten to add, because you don't have a requirement for such things, have old Y-fronts. Now, the great thing about this is that you can use them as a mask, and I'll show you how. They're absolutely perfect. You can see either side. That's not a problem. Completely covers your nose, completely covers your mouth. You need to just tie them down a little bit at the back to help out. And because they're Y-fronts, you got this little area where you can drink your cure. Cheers, Putin. That's my good news and bad news over for today.